What is up, fellow Hoops fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV. As always, brought to you by our great mates over there at topsport.com.au. Now it's Monday morning, a lot of NBA to talk about, so we're going to get straight into it. We're going to welcome old mate BK. My brother, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, my man. How you living?
I'm living fantastic, man. I'm loving life. You know, great weekend down here in Melbourne. Weather was great. Did a little bit of shopping, ran a few errands, watched a little bit of hoops. Can't complain, mate.
It's good living, my man. Good living.
Let's get straight into it, BK. We've got a lot to talk about. We are going to talk about Josh Giddey in just 1 second, but I just saw a tweet right now that I just really quickly want to touch on. It's from friend of the show, Christian Winfield, who appeared on our show earlier this season. So obviously the Brooklyn Nets are playing today, and he's asked Steve Nash about an update on Ben Simmons. And Christian wrote, Steve Nash says Ben Simmons has yet to resume individual workouts. Nash says he has no clarity on what the next steps are in Simmons' rehab. BK, this is not looking good for Ben Simmons coming back this season, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to be coming back from an injury, but then it's also, having enough time to ramp up, not only for NBA basketball, for playoff basketball, because we're pretty much here. We've only got, 10 or so games left in the regular season. So the clock is definitely not working in his favor here. So, I mean, there is still a chance he could come back, but I think we're probably running out of time for Simmons here. It could be a situation where they maybe throw him back in during the middle of the playoffs. But what do you think? You think he'll come back in time?
Definitely not for the regular season. I think that's pretty much a certainty, like you said right now. My only gripe, I guess, with this, and it's something I've been saying all along, is look, Simmons is not a rookie, right? He's a professional basketball player. He's been in the league for a while now. He still needs to get integrated to his new teammates. And the last thing you want to be doing is integrating this guy in a play-in matchup or a first-round playoff series or something like that. I just don't think that's going to be the ideal situation to have this guy make his season debut. But at the end of the day, he's a professional basketball player, right? So he's got to go out there and play, I guess, if he's ready.
Yeah, I think so. And even if it's a situation where, you have Kyrie Irving back full-time now, you obviously have Kevin Durant. If you can just throw Simmons out there as a free safety just to play defense, rebound, that's going to improve your team. So even if it's not necessarily the optimized version of Ben Simmons that's, helping run the offense and getting out in transition, it's an upgrade over, what's kind of a sort of thin bench at the moment, given the injuries they have with Joe Harris being out. So even if he can come back at some point during the postseason, I think that's still a win for the Nets.
Oh, absolutely. Look, you'll take 70% Ben Simmons over 0% Ben Simmons any day of the week. We'll see what happens with Simmons. Unfortunately, one Aussie that won't be coming back this season is Josh Giddey. We got the confirmation yesterday, BK, from the Oklahoma City Thunder that he's being shut down for the remainder of the season. He's got that persistent hip soreness. Thunder coach yesterday confirmed that he would not play again. He's been sidelined since late February, if memory serves correctly. Now, Coach, how do you pronounce his name? Is it Dagno?
Dagno, yeah.
Dagno. I always get his name wrong. So the quote from him was, "It's a tricky injury that's a little unpredictable." He said, "I would not say it met or didn't meet an expectation. We didn't really have an expectation." Now, BK, while disappointing, that we won't get to see Josh on the court again this season, it doesn't take away from the fantastic season that he's already had. I mean, all those Rookie of the Month, the consecutive Rookie of the Month awards. He had career high 28 points in that triple-double against the Knicks, 11 rebounds, 12 assists. I think he ended up recording 3 straight double-doubles again, triple-doubles, if memory serves correctly. Only Oscar Robertson, I believe, had done that as a rookie. He had some great highlights, BK. Obviously, he gave us some great moments. Looking back on it now, how do we judge Josh Giddey's rookie season?
I mean, I think if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, you're over the moon, because let's not forget, before the draft, there was a lot of question marks about Josh Giddey and how he would translate at the NBA level, obviously with the shooting and that kind of thing. But he's had a terrific rookie campaign, 12.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, and that's, second among rookies in rebounding and first in assists. That's what we know Josh Giddey can do and he did that at an extremely high level this season. I think they really have the building blocks for the future in him and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And let's be honest here, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they've got one eye on the draft lottery. They're looking to add another talented piece come June in the NBA draft. So it's not a case of, wow, we need him back out there to win a ton of games. This is a young team with one of the worst records in the league. Their priority is making sure Josh Giddey is healthy.
Yeah, look, I think they've got more than just one eye on that draft lottery. I think they've got both eyes firmly wide open, locked, and staring at that draft lottery. But you're right. Look, Josh Giddey's in the first year of a very, very long NBA career. So you're right. Look, if they shut him down now, they're not playing for anything right now. Shut him down. Just make sure that this kid is healthy moving forward, and they're going to be okay. But look, the Thunder, we've got to give them credit because they selected Josh Giddey number 6, wasn't it, BK? Yeah, number 6. So no, I don't think anyone had him going that high. He was projected as a lottery, but I don't think anyone had him going as high as number 6. So the Thunder definitely saw something in him, and he lived up to to their expectations anyway, I'm sure. But the rest of the NBA world kind of woke up and saw how good this guy was from the get-go. We spoke about it many times on this show through the season, how composed he was from game one. Like, you saw him out there and you felt like he belonged on the NBA stage, and he's proved us correct. It's going to be, like I said, just the first year of a very long career for Josh Giddey. Let's just make sure he's healthy. You know, I'm sure he's going to come home back to Melbourne at some stage over the next few weeks. Maybe continue his rehab back down here before he gets back over to OKC. But shout out to him, man. What a great, just the fact that he was in the running or in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. You know, I don't think he would have won it, but just the fact that he was in that conversation speaks volumes, BK.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he swept the Western Conference Rookie of the Month awards, and, you know, on every sort of rookie power rankings, he was kind of there in that sort of 2, 3, 4 slot throughout the entire regular season. And that's a testament to, I guess, just how good this rookie class has been with the guys up top in Mobley and Scotty Barnes and Cade Cunningham as well. Josh Giddey was right there with those guys for long stretches of the season, and you know, he was just fun to watch. I mean, I've never watched this many Oklahoma City Thunder games in my life.
Facts. Either have I, to be perfectly. Even when Durant and Westbrook and them were playing, I hadn't watched that many games. BK, I want to ask you. I asked you this at the earlier in the season. I want to get your thoughts now that we've had a bigger sample size. We've seen Giddey for 56, 60 odd games, whatever it may be. What do you think his ceiling is in the NBA now?
Well, that's a tough question after one season, but I mean, you can throw around all-star potential for sure. I mean, the guy's 6'8", and as a point guard can just do so many things that other point guards can't do, and especially in this positionless era of the NBA, he can plug a lot of gaps, play different positions, and do a lot of different things. But I think he's going to have a long career. So yeah, I would not be surprised if he makes an all-star team during his time in the NBA.
You know, I made this claim, I guess, earlier in the season, and it may sound weird, right, when I compare him to this player, but there's no disrespect on either side, because I think I see him as like a Lamar Odom type player, BK. And Lamar Odom was 6'9", 6'10", could handle the ball, he was probably one of the first positionless players, I guess, in the NBA. Like, he could do it all. And I believe he made an all-star team or two as well. So I kind of see that for Josh Giddey. And that's not, like I said, no disrespect to either one of those players, because I think Lamar Odom, he was one of my favorite players to watch in the NBA. I can sort of see that trajectory for Josh Giddey. Am I being crazy here, BK? Or
not at all. And don't sleep on Lamar Odom. Lamar Odom was a legend.
He was nice. He was nice.
But I mean, the situation that he's in Oklahoma City has been perfect for that, because you see some guys that come in from the draft and don't necessarily get the opportunity to play through their mistakes and learn the game, and that's the thing. Giddey's only 19 years old. Like, there is a lot of basketball ahead of this guy, a lot more development ahead of this guy. So the fact that we're already kind of putting him in these conversations at age 19, when he should still be in college or not even in the NBA. I mean, that's just a testament to how well he's adapted. So the sky's honestly the limit for this kid, and he's in a great situation there in OKC. They're building something nice down there. They're going to have another high pick coming in this year in the draft. They've already got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander there, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. There's a lot of nice pieces on this team. This is a perfect spot for him to kind of grow and become the player that we all believe he can be.
All facts, no cap there by BK. Look, we wish Josh Giddey the best. Speedy recovery. We're going to see him back on an NBA court very, very shortly. BK, moving on. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference. We've spoken about the Eastern Conference and the parity in that conference this season. But things are getting interesting over there, aren't they, BK? From top to bottom, because there's a lot of different sort of potential play-in and playoff implications with every game now. Philadelphia 76ers have moved into the top spot. I know you're very happy about this, BK. They're in the top spot in the Eastern Conference. Miami on a bit of a losing streak right now. BK, my question to you is, are they dropping games on purpose so they avoid Brooklyn in the first round? Because I don't think anyone wants to play Brooklyn in that first round. The Nets smacked Miami yesterday, 110-95. What is going on at the very top of the Eastern Conference?
Yeah, are you better off being the 3rd or 4th seed than the 1 or 2 seed? Because as it sort of stands now, the Cavs are the number 7 seed, so that's who the Nets will play in that playing game. So if you finish in the 2 seed, now all of a sudden you got to take care of the Nets. If it shakes out that the Nets don't necessarily come through and you have to play that second playing game, then they finish with the 8th seed. There's no reward for finishing in 1 or 2. So I'm not accusing nobody of nothing, but there's only half a game between the top 4 teams there in the Eastern Conference. But you can never tell how things are going to shake out. Teams are just trying to finish the season on a strong note, but there is that looming threat of a grenade coming at you from the lower seeds in that playing situation.
Yeah, I'm looking at Boston and Milwaukee in that 3-4 spot, and I'm like, I think they're happy over there right now. They're just going to cruise their way through to the playoffs and hopefully avoid, like you said, that grenade. It's getting very interesting though, and this is what the NBA's wanted. They've wanted, because at this time of year, normally people lose interest in these games. But now I've probably got more interest now than I did at the beginning of the season, because these games are starting to matter more and more. And it's not only at the top, it's obviously in the lower half of the Eastern Conference as well, BK, because your Toronto Raptors, you've been high on this team all season long. They've overtaken Cleveland, like you said. So they're in 6th in that last guaranteed playoff spot. Cleveland have dropped down to 7th. The Raptors 8-2 in their last 10. Hitting their stride at the right time, BK. Do you think they can hang on to that 6th spot?
I mean, this was a rebuilding year for the Raptors, and now they're closing in 40 wins and a 6th seed. I think they can hang on. The Cavs have really struggled. Obviously injuries haven't helped them at all through the second half of the season, but the Raptors, they've sort of come through at the right time. Scotty Barnes, has made a really strong case to be Rookie of the Year. Siakam looks like an All-NBA player. OG Anunoby's just come back into the lineup as well. So everything's starting to come good for the Raptors at the right time. Precious Achiuwa looks like Reggie Miller now. Like, shout out to Nick Nurse, man. I don't know what he's doing up there, but he's getting the most out of these guys.
Look, we've spoken about the Cavs all year. We've praised their sort of, because they've had injuries, it seemed, all year. Like one guy would go down and that, keep playing. And we've praised their ability to sort of keep their head above water in the face of adversity and injuries and COVID and all that sort of stuff that they've had to deal with throughout this season. But it just seems like it's finally catching up to them now, and that's why they're sort of starting to drop down. I'm with you. I don't think they can get back into the guaranteed playoff spots. I think Toronto has the momentum. They're playing really well for all those reasons that you mentioned as well. I really do think they hang on. I think Toronto's going to be a tough out in the playoffs no matter who they play.
And that's the thing. We talk about the Nets being a team that no one wants to face. The Raptors, I'm not saying they're going to beat anybody necessarily in the first round, but they're not going to make it easy for you. This team plays so hard. They have a lot of long athletic guys on this roster, and they have experienced guys as well. There's NBA champions on this team, Van Vliet, Siakam, guys that have been in all-star games. So they're going to be an annoying team to come up against if you're, if that's a 3-6 matchup. So don't worry about even the 1 through 8 and the 2-7. The 3-6 looks like it's going to be an annoying matchup. The Eastern Conference is hot right now.
And look, I said this before as well, I think Brooklyn would much rather play Cleveland too. And I'm not saying that Toronto would have beaten them. it would have been a tough matchup. But if that were to play, if Toronto was in 7th and then Brooklyn has to travel to Canada for that one there, obviously Kyrie can't play because of Canada's, vaccination laws. I kind of give the Raptors a strong chance in that one-off game, in a 7 versus 8 matchup. Like I said, I think the Nets would much rather play the Cavs in that 7 versus 8 than Toronto.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing as well is it's not done yet because the Cavs do hold the tiebreaker over the Raptors. So we still do have a few games to go. Things could flip-flop either side. But I think now that the Raptors have been building towards getting the 6th seed, which looked kind of impossible just a couple of weeks ago now, I don't think they're going to be in a hurry to let that go if they can get a guaranteed spot in the postseason.
All facts. And look, to be perfectly honest, this is what the NBA's wanted, man. And this is why they brought in the play-in seedings, because this is just really interesting. Like I said, this is when the games start to matter now. And then obviously once we get into the playoffs. So we'll see what happens with that one there. Moving on, BK, let's talk about most improved player, because we've already gone through MVP. We've given our rookie of the year. We've done all that sort of stuff. We haven't really spoken about this season, but let's talk about most improved player. We're going to talk about who's in the running, and then we're going to give our prediction of who we think is going to win. Now, when we look at most improved player, BK, fair to say that the candidates this year are probably Ja Morant, Darius Garland, Miles Bridges, DeJounte Murray from San Antonio. Your guy, Anthony Simons, I feel like is going to be in there as well. BK, am I missing anybody else, or is it going to come down to one of those 5 guys?
Yeah, my other guy, Tyrese Maxey's going to get some love as well, too. Don't sleep on Maxey.
You had to put it in there. The president of the Australian chapter of the Tyrese Maxey fan club has spoken.
Whenever I get a chance. But this is a pretty interesting field. I mean, the overwhelming favorite is Ja Morant, just because what he's done with the Grizzlies this season has been nothing short of incredible. And the leap he's made, to go from good young player to superstar, that's the hardest leap to make in the NBA. The numbers are there, just his leadership. I wouldn't be mad at Ja Morant, winning most improved player. But, these other guys, Darius Garland, doing what he's done with the Cavs, Miles Bridges, started the season really well, kind of fell off a little bit and is now kind of back to where he was at the start of the season. But I like DeJounte Murray in San Antonio. This guy's become a triple-double machine. He fills it up every single night. He is the leader of that young Spurs team. And just the growth that he's kind of shown this year. I like DeJounte Murray. That's my guy for most improved. And no disrespect to Ja Morant, but this is kind of what we were expecting from Ja Morant. Maybe not to this extreme, but I mean, I don't know. I just think DeJounte Murray means that much to the San Antonio Spurs.
I hear you, BK. I hear you, and I hear your reasoning behind that, and it's very sound reasoning. I'm still going to go with Ja Morant, and I look at Ja Morant's season, right? So his points, he's averaging 27 this year, which is up from 19 last year. Field goal percentage, he's shooting the ball at 49%, up on 44 last year. Rebounds are up 5.7 from 4 last year. Only his assist numbers are a little bit down this year versus last year. Most importantly for me, and again, I know that winning doesn't play as big a part in a most improved player as it does in like an MVP or something like that. But most importantly for me, the Grizz are the clear second best team in the Western Conference this year. And a lot of that has to do with Ja Morant. So I look at all of that, put it all together, and I'm like, how can you not give it to him?
that is 100% fair. I mean, Ja Morant has probably been one of the top 3 storylines in the NBA this season. The Grizzlies are probably one of the biggest storylines this season. It does make sense. And the trajectory that he's on, this is almost like a Giannis type trajectory, like win most improved, and then, a couple seasons later, an MVP is kind of on the way. But yeah, I think it'll come down to those two. But I think all the money's on Ja Morant to take this one home, and rightfully so. He's been incredible this season.
Yes, and look, last year's winner, Julius Randle, actually regressed pretty badly. So hopefully Ja Morant or whoever wins this award does not go down that same path next season. All right, BK, we're going to take a look at some games before we get out of here. 7 games on the NBA slate. One is already done. The Knicks getting a close win against the Detroit Pistons by 2 points, 104-102. Three are on right now, so we're going to take a look at the three still to be played today. We're going to start off with the Lakers and the Pelicans over here. Pelicans, this one's a big matchup, BK. Huge matchup. Pelicans are favorites, $1.58. Lakers, $2.43. Line is at -4. Total is at 234 even. Live on NBA League Pass. Like I said, huge game for both teams. The Lakers are back in ninth with a half-game lead over the Pels following New Orleans' loss to San Antonio yesterday. LBJ is questionable for this game, but I've got a feeling he's going to play. It's going to take a lot for him not to play this game with the Lakers, with the stakes, for the Lakers here. Dwight Howard, THT, both day-to-day. Brandon Ingram didn't play versus the Spurs, and his status is uncertain for this game, so we'll see what happens with that one. Second night, obviously, of a back-to-back for the Pelicans. BK, who do you like?
Yeah, the Pelicans lost a heartbreaker yesterday to the Spurs in the final minute of that game. But this is almost a 2-for-1 game for the Lakers. They need to win games, but also beating the Pelicans definitely just gives them that nice little cushion. Especially because the San Antonio Spurs are kind of knocking on the door of that 10th seed. They're only a game back there of the Pelicans. So this is a huge game for both New Orleans and Los Angeles. Again, it all comes down to LeBron. If LeBron's not there, the money's there with the New Orleans Pelicans. But don't sleep on a LeBron 50 ball if they need it, because we've seen him do it whenever they've needed it this season.
The fact that they're relying on a 50 ball from a 39-year-old LeBron James to beat New Orleans for a play-in seed says a lot about where the Lakers are right now, BK. I'm with you. Look, if LeBron plays, I'm actually going to go with the Lakers. If LeBron doesn't play, I'm going to go with the Pelicans. It could be me hedging my bets there a little bit, but I think that's the way it is.
Reality.
That's just reality, So, yeah, we'll see. It all depends on LeBron James. All right, moving on to the next game. We've got Utah and Dallas. The Jazz, slight favorites here, $1.87. The Mavericks, $1.97. The line's at 1.5. Total is at 213.5. Live on NBA League Pass. Another game with huge playoff implications. Both teams are level on 45 wins, 29 losses. This is a 4 versus 5 matchup. If they both remain like this in the 4 and 5 seeds, this game could decide who has home court advantage in that first round of playoffs. No Bogdanovic, no Daniel House. Hassan Whiteside is questionable to play. No Sterling Brown, no Theo Pinson, and Trey Burke is questionable for the Mavs. BK, who you got?
This is a tough one. This is going to be a very, very tight game, and hopefully a preview to something in the postseason. But out of these two teams, I like the Mavs. I like the Mavs against Utah. Just the matchup. We've seen Luka Doncic have success, especially going at Rudy Gobert. This is going to be fun watching him and Mitchell trade buckets.
You know what? I was going to go Utah, but I'm just thinking at home, Dallas, like you said, Luka Doncic going at Gobert. I'm going to go with Dallas in a very tight one at home today, but this really could go either way.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun game.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, these games, they're fun, man. Like I'm enjoying this end of the regular season. Normally I tune out at this point of the year, and I'm just like, I need the playoffs.
It's normally already written by now, but
yeah,
every game matters from here on out.
Facts. Every game matters. All right, last game we're going to take a look at. Again, there could be some playoff implications here as well. We've got the Brooklyn Nets, Charlotte Hornets. Nets $1.36 favorites. Hornets $3.25. Lines at -7. The total's at 238.5. Also live on League Pass. 8 versus 9 matchup. Both teams 7-3 in their last 10. This one is at Barclays Center. So Kyrie likely to be making his home debut today, BK, unless you've heard anything different.
Facts. Kyrie's now able to play home games. Let's go.
And the Nets are playing the second night of a back-to-back. Obviously smacked Miami yesterday, BK. I don't think there's much to be said about this one here. Kyrie's playing at home. The Nets are playing well. And look, not that Charlotte has been playing badly, but I just think the momentum is with the Nets right now, and I think they get this one. I actually think Kyrie's going to have a huge night at Barclays Center.
Yeah, he had a 50-piece against the Hornets in their last game on the road. So don't be surprised if he does it again the way that he's been playing. The Nets have won 3 of their last 4 and look like they're kind of getting it together for this stretch run of the season. So I'm a rock with Curry and the Nets.
Yeah, there you go. We've agreed on all 3 of our picks today. So I think you can pretty much take that one to the bank. BK, we're going to catch you again later on in the week, my man. Enjoy the week. Don't work too hard.
Always, my man. Appreciate you.
All right, man. This has been another episode of The Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV, brought to you by our good mates over there at topsport.com.au. We'll see you guys Wednesday morning.